Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a website for business. So let's take a look at the pages that we're going to be building. So here, this is our main landing page. So if I scroll through here, you can see we have a parallax effect. And then over here, we also have our services section. And then below here, we have our projects and our call to action and contact form. And then over here, we also have the rest of the pages. So let's go through the Our Team page. So this is our Team page. It also has a video here with an image overlay. And then here we have all the team members. Okay, so here on the services page, we have this counter here, which you can also go in and adjust. And then on the bottom here, we also have a video, which has an image overlay. And then on the bottom here, we have all the services. We have the team right here, and this guy here could also be the CEO, or it could be, whatever you choose to be, because this website is very easy to go in and make changes to. Now, finally, we have this contact page, which has our image here in the background, and also we have stylized this form to give it a bit of a different style. Okay, so on the top here, we also managed to add this phone number and this email address, and I'm not sure if you noticed this, but all these pages here have these page titles. So I'll be showing you all these things throughout this long tutorial. So the other thing as well is I'm giving away this theme for free. So you can go ahead and download this theme and customize it and make it your type of website. Now, this is not only just a corporate website, you can actually use this for any type of website. And now let me show you how easily you can go in and make some changes. So if I come over here to the home page, we can see here that this is very corporate, but if you want to customize this website to use it in your own project. So let's say you have a restaurant. You can always go into the Enable Visual Builder, click on this gear icon, go to background, click on the third tab, and then you can just delete this image right here. Click this plus button, and you can add your own image just by clicking upload image like that. You can now see here that we've changed this website just by a few clicks to make it into a different type of website. Now we can see here that our text is not easy to read. So you can just fix that by coming over here to the background and then changing this color here to black. And then over here on the image blend, change this to multiply. And now just by doing that, we can now read our text. So this is how quickly you can change this website into any type of business website. So I'll be giving away this child theme for free. All that information will be linked in the show notes below. And I'll also show you how to install this onto your own website. The three things that you're going to need in order for you to build this type of website are a domain name. Number two, you're going to need some hosting. So the company I recommend for the hosting is called InMotion Hosting. This company is fantastic because they offer you great support and their team is great with WordPress. So if you come across any WordPress issues, they'll be able to help you. And also when it comes to changing your website in the future, maybe to sell some products, they also provide a free SSL for you, and their servers are really, really fast. So that's why I love InMotion Hosting, and I use it for my own website. I have a link in the show notes below. If you use that link to purchase your hosting, I will give you free access to my Divi course and my WordPress course. Now, this course covers everything that you need to know about web design using Divi. So go ahead and use that link. Now, the other thing that you're also going to need is you're going to need Divi itself. This is a membership which you will have to go and purchase. It's $89 per year if you want to choose the yearly option, or $249 if you want a lifetime option. Now, if you choose Divi as your page builder, you will not regret it because it gives you all the tools that you need to become creative. In fact, you can build pretty much any type of layout using Divi. I've been using it myself for over 4 years and I've been pleased with it. So without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let me show you how to build this website. So for your domain name, the first thing you want to do here is to go to hover.com. So this is the service that I use for my domain registration. So you can start over here by looking for your domain name. So let's say, for example, here, I want a domain name that ends in Mac. I'm just going to click on search and see what is out there. So I know for a fact that most of these domains are now taken, but you have also options here that you can take a look at, which you can use to build your website on. So for example, I could go for, let's say, mac.digital, and then all you have to do is to click this plus button here, and that has been added onto your cart. So you can then proceed to cart and pay for that domain name. So now that your domain registration is in order, the next thing you need to do is to go ahead and purchase your hosting. So the link to purchase your hosting is in the show notes below. So once you click that link, you land on this page. So I know there's a lot of information here. You don't need to worry about that. All you need to do is to come over here to get started now. Click that button and it's going to take you to this page. And this is where you want to select your launch. I mean, later on when your website gets more popular, you can then upgrade and choose power. And that's a very easy process to do. So over here on launch, you can click on order now, and you have three options here. You have 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. Now, to be honest, this is only $2.95. So I would pretty much go ahead with the 3 years if you're going to keep this website for that long. So in most cases, you're going to keep your website for even much longer than that. So I will go ahead and choose this 3-year option, and this will open into a new tab. And this is where you get to start filling in all your information. So I'm just going to click no thanks for that. So for our data center, I just normally leave it as it is. And then here is where you get to install WordPress automatically. So you don't have to learn how to install WordPress. This whole process is done for you automatically. All you have to do is to click on install WordPress. And then next you want to click on continue. So this is where now you add your domain information. So since we've already registered for our domain name, or if you already have a domain name, this is where you have to paste it. So you click on I already own this domain. So let's say I add mactraining in here.com. If I click on continue, this now takes me to my billing. So this is where you want to add your email address if you're a new customer. And then once you go through that process, you go through to review your order, and then you purchase your hosting with InMotion Hosting. Now, once that's done, behind the scenes, your website will be created while you're being sent that confirmation receipt. So it's now time to go and check your email and see if you've received that email. If not, give it a few moments, you will get that email. And then what you want to do is to click the link in the email that will take you to your website. So I've already gone through this whole process. So let's go and take a look at our WordPress website. Okay, so InMotion Hosting has installed WordPress. Let's go ahead and take a look at how our site looks like. So this is how a basic WordPress install looks like. So as you can see, there's nothing much going on here. In a moment, we're going to log into our WordPress admin dashboard and install Divi. Now, I already have a license, so I'm going to go ahead and log into my account and download the latest Divi. So I'm going to click on login, and then I'm going to click on this button here to log into my site. So here we can see these are all the things that come with our membership. So we have Divi itself, we have extra. We also have the Divi builder. Now this is just in case you want to use Divi with a different theme. The main thing we need here is Divi. So I'm going to click on download. So as soon as I click that, it's going to start downloading straight away. Another thing that you're also going to need in order for you to stay up to date is your API key. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to account, and then I'm going to click on API key. I'm going to copy that because we're going to use it very soon. So now that we have all that information, I'm going to come back over here to my WordPress website, and now it's time to log in. So to log into your WordPress admin dashboard, you need to type in wp-admin, and then you need to enter your username and password that you created when you first set up your site in InMotion Hosting. Okay, so my username is that, and I'm going to type my password. Okay, so this is my admin dashboard. It's brand new. So what I normally do when I first log in is I just do some housekeeping. So I'm going to come over here, dismiss this, and then I'm going to click on screen options and just delete and just disable some of these because I don't need this. They just take up too much space. Okay, so now that I've cleaned up this area, let's go ahead now and install our Divi theme. So I'm going to come over here to Appearance, click on Themes, and then I'm going to click on Add New, click Upload Theme. Now my theme has been downloaded to the Downloads folder, so that's where I'm going to find it. So I'm going to click on Choose File, and then I'm going to go to my Downloads folder, and it's the first one right here. I'm going to double click on it, and then I'm going to click Install Now. Okay, next we're going to click on Activate. So now our Divi theme has been activated. The next thing I'm going to do here is to enter my API key. So I'm going to come over here to Divi, click on Theme Options, and then I'm going to come over here to Updates. Now the reason why I'm entering my API key is because I would like to receive all the latest updates coming from Divi, and I would like this to happen automatically. Otherwise, you would have to go into your account, download the latest one, and keep doing that process, which is very unnecessary. So I'm going to enter my username here, and then I'm going to paste my API key, which I copied earlier on, and then click on Save Changes. So now that everything is saved, we can go ahead now and start building our pages. So I'm going to come over here to my dashboard and click on Home. Okay, so we are going to be adding pages to our website, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click on Add New. So I'm going to start with the About Us page. I'm going to publish it. Click on Add New. I'm going to add the Our Team page. Publish it. Click on Add New. We're going to add our contact page. Click on Add New. We're also going to need our home page. Publish that. Okay, so if you want to see all your pages, all you have to do is click over here where it says All Pages. And then this shows you all your pages that have been installed. Now this sample page here comes in by default. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this. So I'm just going to click on Trash. So now it's gone. So far we have 4 pages. Let's just add one more. And the extra page we're going to add is the services page. So I'm going to come here to Pages, click on Add New. We're going to call this Services. Click Publish. Okay, so now let's take a look at our website and see what we have. So if I click on View Site, so right now this is our blank Divi install, but in a few moments this is going to look way much better than this. Okay, so we need to work on our menu right here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to come over here to my Appearance, click on Menus, and then I'm going to create my brand new menu. I'm going to call this main menu. And by the way, you can call this menu whatever you like, but I just prefer to call it main menu. Click on Create Menu. Now it's time to add all these pages onto my main menu. So I'm going to select them one by one. Click on Add to Menu. And then I can rearrange them. So I would like my contact to be the last page on the list, like that. Okay, so once you've rearranged these, the next thing you want to do is to make sure you click on Primary Menu. So this is just telling WordPress that we are assigning this structure here onto the primary menu. So now you can go ahead and click on Save Menu. Now, if I come over here to my site and refresh, you can see that we have our menu right there, which is good. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to start building our page. So we're going to start with the home page. So I'm going to come back over here to my dashboard, click on All Pages. So this shows us a list of all our pages on our website. So I'm going to come over here and then click on Edit. And then we're going to go straight into the Divi Builder. So I'm going to click on Use Divi Builder. And then I'm going to click on Use Visual Builder. Click on Start Building. So the first thing I'm going to do here is to add my section. So I'm going to click this plus button here. I'm going to add a full width section. And this full width section is going to be a full width header. Now I'm just going to dock panel here to the left like that because I prefer working like that. so I can see all the changes that I'm doing over here to the right while I'm working here on the left. So this is where you can get to add your title. So our title can be anything. Now, because I'll be giving away this website for free, I'm just going to be using some dummy text. But if you go ahead and download this theme, you can now go ahead and use your titles and your text on this website and also replace these images. So I'm just going to use my own text here. So the website I'll be using for my dummy text is Lorem Ipsum. This is where I'll just be copying my text and pasting it here just to make things a bit fast. Paste my heading like that. And then I'm going to add my subheading. I'm going to paste it in here. And then for these buttons, we're just going to call this Get a Quote. And the other one, we're going to call this Get in Touch. Okay. Now on the content area here, we can add more information, but I'm just going to leave this blank. And then over here on the links, again, you can add a link to your first button here and a link to your second button. So for now, I'm just going to add a blank link. And then I'm going to come over here to design and click on layout. So here I'm going to have everything centered. So I'm going to click on center because right now it's left aligned. So as you can see here, all the changes I'm making over here are happening here in real time on the right. So now I want to make this full screen. So I'm going to click on that. Next, I'm going to come back over here to my content and click on background. So this is now time to add my background image because as you can see, this is really blank. So I'm going to click this third tab, click this plus button, and then I'm going to click on select files. Now, all the files I'm going to need are all in my downloads folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight and select all the files that I need and then click open. So this is going to save me a lot of time by going back to my computer and selecting each image individually. So all these images now are being all uploaded onto my media library so I can select them easier. Okay, so it's going to take a bit of time because there's quite a few images here. Okay, so it looks like most of them are done now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead now and add my image. So the image I'm going to use is going to be this one right here. So I'm going to select it and then click upload an image. Right, so now we can see that our image has now been added onto our main page. I'm going to go ahead now and save because I need to do something quickly here. We can see when I scroll to the top that we have this section here. We don't need this, to be honest, because it comes by default with Divi. So I'm going to delete that by pressing that trash can icon. Okay, so now that we have this beautiful image, let's go ahead now and customize our text so that it really stands out from this background. So I'm going to click here on the settings and then I'm going to come over here to design and then click on text. Right, so our text here, it's set to dark. So I'm going to click here and set it to light. So now we can see everything is now white. Okay, so as you can see, this main image here is quite bright for our text to be easily readable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this image a bit dark so that when visitors come to our website, they can read this text much easier. So to do that, I'm going to come over here to my module settings, click on background. And in the first tab here, I'm going to add a background color. And this color is going to be black. And then back over here on my image tab, I'm going to come all the way to the bottom here and choose an image blend. So my image blend here, I'm just going to play around with a few of these and see which one works. So I'm going to start off with overlay. So we can see here that everything has gone black. That's because our color has taken over. But we can lower the opacity here by clicking this little icon. And as you can see, we can adjust this image. So I think right about there is perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and save. So now we can see that when visitors come to our website, they can read our message much easier. But we're not done yet with this because we need to go ahead and customize this and make it look much better. So back over here in my module settings, I'm going to click on design, click on title text. So here on the size, I'm just going to increase this to about say 40. And then I'm going to come over here to my letter spacing, increase my letter spacing a little bit, maybe to about 2. And then I'm going to make it all caps. I'm going to click on this button here. So now it's all caps. And then for my paragraph text, what I'm going to do is I am going to click here on subtext. increase the size, okay, to about say 23. And then I'm going to increase the line height like that. So that's looking much better. And the letter spacing, I'm just going to leave it as it is. In fact, I might just even bump this down a bit to say 22. But the problem is I don't want to leave this one word right there. So either I can increase another word here like that, just to make it balance out. Okay, so next I'm going to go into button 2 and button 1 and adjust those buttons. So I'm going to click here on button 2. Now, to make adjustments to this button, you need to make sure that you have use custom styles for button 2 selected. So now that it's on, I'm going to leave everything as it is. The only thing I'm going to change here is the background color. So I'm going to click this plus button to add our background color. So I'm going to choose my first color and I can go ahead and adjust it and make it, the way I want it, moving around here in this color palette. Okay, so here we can see we have a border width. We're going to get rid of the border width like that. And the border radius is fine at 3. The button letter spacing, again, I'm just going to add maybe 1 to that. Make it all caps. Now the size is a bit too big. Let me reduce that to about maybe 18 works fine. And then I'm also going to make it right. So I'm going to save this. And then next I'm going to go into this button here. So I'm going to click on button 1, use custom styles for button. Make sure the size is 18 as well. I'm going to remove the border width, add my background color. Okay, so I'm going to just change the color there and make it red. I'm going to make the text all caps as I did before with the other one. So far that's looking good. Now I can go ahead and save. So I'm going to save this for now because we need to add more parts to this website. So the next thing I'm going to do is to add a new section. So I'm going to come over here, click this plus button, click on regular because this needs to be a regular section. Now, because we're going to add some services onto our page, I'm going to come over here and click these 3 columns. Now in each column, I'm going to add a blurb. So I'm going to select it right here like that. And then I'm going to give this a title. So again, I'm just going to use my lorem text to add my title here like that. I'm going to add a bit of paragraph text. I'm going to paste it in here. So let's go ahead and choose an icon that works with this. So here I'm just going to choose any icon, to be honest, because I'm not bothered which one I use. But in your case, if you're using this theme, you need to choose an icon that works with your project. Okay, so now that I've selected my icon, now I can go into my design, click on image and icon, and this is where I can change the color. So here in the colors, I'm going to add my color in there, and I'm just going to paste my color right here like that. Now you can choose to use a circle icon like that, but I prefer not to have this. I'm just going to have my icon as it is. So I'm going to go back to no, but that's an option for you if you need to use that. Next, you can see this icon is a bit too big. Let's reduce that size. So to do that, we're going to come over here to use icon font size, and we're going to reduce this all the way down to about even 60. Like that. So that looks much better. Okay, and then next I'm going to come over here to my text and just make sure that it's all centered like that, because it looks much better when it's centered. Now I'm going to come over here to my border, and we're going to add a border around this. So I'm just going to add 1 pixel, as you can see here. Now we have a border, but the problem we're having here is we need to add some breathing space to this. So that's what we're going to do next after we've adjusted our color. So I'm going to come over here to my border color, and I'm just going to reduce. Right, so that should work fine, like that. Okay. And then for the rounded corners here, I'm just going to add maybe 6 or even 5. So yeah, that's looking much better now with the rounded corners. Okay, so I prefer that. So what I'm going to do next is to go into my spacing and add some padding around it. So I'm going to start off with 20 and see how that looks. It's not too bad actually. So let me increase that to about 30. Okay, so now we have more breathing space in that rectangle. So that's looking much, much better. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add more of these services onto these other 2 columns. But as I'm looking at this icon here, I think I can reduce the size a little bit and maybe even change the color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my image and icon and let's change the color. Okay, that's much better. Okay, so I prefer that color. And also here on the title, I think that's a bit too dark. So I'm also going to change my title. So I'm going to come over here to my text title color. So I'm just going to reduce that. Yeah, to about 6666. Okay, so that's looking much better now. I can go ahead now and save. So to save us time, because if I were to recreate this over and over again, it's going to take me a long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone this twice and then change the contents of the information in that rectangle. So I'm going to come over here and then click this clone button twice. And then I'm just going to drag this over here to position. And then I'm going to do the same over here like that. And then I'm just going to go into my settings and change the icon itself. So I'm going to click on image and icon. And then I'm just going to choose an icon here. Maybe I'll go with this one. And then the text inside to change that. There's also what is known as inline editing. So all I can do here is to choose a title like that, copy it, and then I can just paste it straight away without going into my module settings. Okay, so let's do it one more time over here. I'm going to click this gear icon, click on image and icon. Let's choose an icon for that. This time I'm going to go with this globe. Yeah, maybe that works since this is a corporate website. Okay, so that's looking good. I'm going to go ahead and save, and then we're going to change the title of that as well. Copy that and paste my title in here. Okay, so that's looking really cool. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is to add a title to this row. So what I'm going to do, in fact, before I do that, I need to make this row slightly bigger because right now it's a bit too narrow. So I'm going to go into my row settings, click on design, sizing. So this is where you can choose the size that you need. So I'm going to make this row custom width like that. And then I'm just going to adjust my size to say about 1200. Or I can just type it in there like that. That's even easier. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and save. Next, I'm going to add a new row. And this time it's going to be a single column. And in that column, we're going to add a text module like that. So this is where we're going to add our titles to all our sections. So we're going to call this services like that. We're going to highlight it and make sure this is H1 like that. And then we're going to come over here to the design tab, click on heading text, and we're going to come over here to our font weight and let's choose light and see how that looks. Okay, I think that works. I'm going to choose my color. So we're going to test this color and see if this color works. So I'm just going to paste it in here. Okay, let's try it regular. Yeah, I think it's much better that way. So let's go ahead and save. And I'm going to drag this now to the top like that. Here's the thing. We can either leave it here on the left or we can center it. Now, if you want to center it, it's quite straightforward. All you have to do is to go back into my module settings, click on design, text, and we come over here to our text orientation and then just click center and that centers it. Okay, so that's looking good. I'm going to go ahead now and save. So as you can see, our page is now shaping up. We have our main hero area here. We have our two buttons. And then over here, we have our services. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we are also going to add another section, which is going to have the project. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click this plus button here, click on regular. And for our projects, what we're going to do is we are going to add about 4 of them. Okay, like that. So in each one of these, we are going to use a blurb one more time. So I'm going to select it. So we're going to give them titles here. Let me choose my title. I'm going to paste it in here. We're going to come over here to image and icon. So this time, instead of using an icon, we're going to use an image. So I'm going to click on upload. And then we're going to start choosing all our images from our image library. So I'm going to select it. So now we can see our image has been added. And then here, if you want to link this to a page, you can just add your URL in there. But for now, I'm going to add a blank URL. And then I'm going to come over here to design, title text, make sure that it's centered. We may want to reduce the size a little bit, maybe up to about 16. And then I'm going to save this. So again, to save time, I am going to duplicate these and add them to the rest of these spaces. So I'm going to do it 4 times. Drag it into position like that. Right. Okay, so now that we have all our images in place, what we need to do is to go in and replace each image and title for this project's area. So I'm going to come over here to my gear icon, click on image and icon, click upload, and then we're just going to start adding all our images like that. And I'm going to give this a different title, and I'm just going to paste it in here inline. Just going to paste my title in here. Then I'm going to save. Move on to the next one. Click on image and icon, upload an image. I'm going to paste my title here in the text, save this, and then finally we're going to add our last image. Click the gear icon. I'm going to add our title like that. And then we're going to come over here to our image and icon and click on upload. And we're going to choose our image. Okay, so I'm going to save this. So here is the area which has all our information for the project. So what we may want to do here is to expand this and make this bigger. So I'm going to click this gear icon, click on design, sizing. We're going to make this row full width. So as you can see here, it's now full width. Next, we're going to decrease the size between these images. To do that, we're going to come over here to use custom gutter width. And we're just going to reduce this to 2. So now you can see the gap here is much better. Okay, so for now, I'm going to save this. So now we can see that's looking beautiful. One more thing that we need to do here as well is to add the title to this. So I'm going to come over here and duplicate this title here and drag it all the way here to the bottom like that. And then we are going to give this a background color. So let's click on this gear icon here, click on background, and let's try different colors here and see how that works. So that might be too dark, but to be honest, it's not looking too bad. So let's take a look here and see if we can reduce to a darker gray, maybe. So I think that looks much better. So now that we have that in place, let's go ahead and save. And we're going to come over here into our title, click the gear icon and change the color. So the color we're going to do, we're going to change it to here is going to be a lighter color, perhaps even white. So next we're going to change this from services to our projects. So that's looking fine. I'm going to save. And the second problem that we have here is these titles here are now not easier to read. So we need to change these. So what I need to do is to go back in here and make those adjustments one more time. So I'm going to click this gear icon to change the colors. I'm going to come into design, text. I'm going to change this from dark to light. So that's looking better. But you can actually go into the title text and really change this color to whatever you want. So I think instead of having it white, white is a bit too bright and it's competing with our page title. So let's use something like a lighter gray here, if it like that. And that's the color we're going to use for these titles for the project. So I'm going to save, do the same here, paste it, save one more time here. In fact, 2 more times. Okay, click on design, title text, text color, and finally I'm going to paste it like that. And that's pretty much our section done. So what we can further do here is to reduce the padding to about, say, 25, like that. Okay, so now we have our hero area, we have our services area. Now we've just completed our projects area. So next, why don't we create a call to action section? So to do that, we're going to come over here, click this plus button, and we are going to click on a regular. So for our call to action, we're going to use this 2/3, 1/3. So I'm going to select it. So in the 2/3, we're going to have a contact form. So I'm just going to search for it and select it. And then over here to the right, we're going to add a text module. And in that text module, we're going to add some dummy text as well. We may want to add a title to this. So I'm just going to call this details. And then we're going to give this a heading 2, like that, or maybe even a heading 3. Yes, I think heading 3 works fine. And we may also want to add a telephone number. Okay, we're going to highlight this and we're going to make it heading 3, just like what we did on the top. And then we're going to add some numbers. Okay, we can also add one more. Okay, so that's looking good. Let's save this for now. So what we can also do here is we can go in and customize this button here so that we have consistency going on here on our page. So to do that, we're going to come over here to this gear icon to go into our module settings. We can actually give this form a title, but for consistency purposes, we are going to duplicate this title here and add it above here later on. So we're going to change our button. So let's go into design and then we're going to click on button, use custom styles for button. And we're going to reduce this size a little bit. And then we're going to add our background color like that. Get rid of the border width. Now text color needs to be white. That's much better. And here for our letter spacing, we're just going to add 2. So that's looking much better now. And we have now consistency. So I'm going to go ahead now and save. Now, before I save, just in case you're wondering, how do people get your email or how do they get the message sent to you? Now, what you need to do here is to come back over here to the content, click on email. Now, this is where you need to enter your email address. So in fact, let me just add mine here like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and save. So now we have our contact form. We have our contact details. And next, I'm going to duplicate this right here, like that, and then drag it all the way to the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to go into the settings, change this into get in touch, like that, save. So pretty much this is our landing page, our main home page. So the next thing we're going to do now is to design the inside pages. So the next page is going to be the About Us page. Again, I'll be showing you step by step how I create the About Us page. Now it's time to save this page and make sure that we don't lose all our hard work. Okay, so now that it's saved, let's exit the Visual Builder. Okay, so let's go back into our dashboard and we're going to come over here to All Pages. And we're going to go ahead and design our About Us page. So I'm going to click on Edit, Use Divi Builder, and then I'm going to click on Use Visual Builder. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start off by adding our page titles for all these pages. So we're going to start over here with this About page. So I'm going to click this plus button, click on Full Width, and then scroll all the way down here until we find Full Width Post Title. So I'm going to select it. And then I'm going to come over here to background and add a background image. So I'm going to click this plus button, upload my image, select files. So that's the image I'm going to use. I'm going to click upload an image. So as you can see here, my image is now added onto this top section. So the next thing I'm going to do is to adjust my information here because I don't need all these extra things. So I'm going to come over here to Elements. And then I'm just going to disable my metadata, click on Design. Now we need to add some breathing space here on the bottom of this About Us. So I'm going to come over here to Spacing and I'm going to add my padding bottom. So let's start off with 20. Now I can see that's not enough. So just keep adding more until you are happy with what you have. So right now I've got about 60. It's not too bad, but let me add a bit more to the top. So let's say 120. Next, I'm going to come over here to my text, my title text. I'm going to make it all caps. So I'm going to come over here to my text color. I'm going to paste it in here. So that looks much better now. So for my title text, I'm just going to increase my size to about maybe 32 and also the letter spacing to 2. Okay, so that's looking much better now. I'm going to go ahead and save, and then I'm going to delete this section that comes by default. So now we have this title for all our pages. Okay, so now that I have that, the next thing I'm going to do is to add our main image. So I'm going to click this plus button, click on regular, single column, and I'm going to choose an image module. And I'm going to go click upload. So the image I'm going to use for this is going to be this image here. Since this is the About Us page, I'm going to have this large image which pretty much shows the team. So I'm happy with that. This doesn't need a link, so I'm going to leave it as it is. And then I'm going to go ahead now and save. Next, I'm going to add some text. So I'm going to click this plus button here to add a new section. So first of all, it's going to be a single row. And I'm going to add my text module. And I'm going to paste my text in here. So this text I'm pasting in here could be maybe even the About Us text, which you can always go in and make some adjustments to. So that's looking fine. It's missing a title. So let's add our title to that. So I'm going to select my title from here and make sure that when you add your titles, you highlight it and then change here where it says paragraph to heading 1. So now my title is now in place. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and save. Right now I can see I have a lot of white space between the image and also this text. So what I may want to do is to reduce padding right here to about say 26. And then I may want to do the same here for this section. So you can always do it manually by coming here into design, click on spacing. And then for padding bottom, we're just going to add, let's say 20. Okay, so that's looking much better now. We may also want to add some more elements here just to make this page more exciting. So I'm going to click this plus button here to add a new row. And this time is going to be a 2/3, 1/3 row. So I'm going to add that. And then for our first part here, I'm going to add a text module. And we're going to paste all our text. Copy it and paste it here. Again, we're going to give this a title, but this time this is going to be a H2 title. Okay, I'm just going to paste my text, highlight it, and change this to H2. So that's looking great. I'm going to save this. And then over here, we're going to add an image. So I'm going to select my image module, click upload, and we are going to choose this guy here. So I guess, and this is very important actually that I've tried to do it this way, because ideally you want to have this image on the left because he's facing more to the right. So you want the text to be on his right side because this looks a bit weird. So let's go ahead and fix that. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to come over here, click this plus button and choose this 1/3, 2/3. And then I'm just going to close this because I'm just going to drag these modules and put them in place like that. Do the same over here. I'm going to drag this into place like that. And now we can go ahead and delete this row that we have here on the top. Okay, so this is our About Us page. The next page we're going to go and do is the services page. So I'm going to come over here and save this page. Okay, so let's go ahead and exit the Visual Builder. And then we're going to go back to our dashboard. Click Pages, All Pages. So I'm going to select the services page, click on Edit. And then I'm going to click on Use the Divi Builder, Use Visual Builder. So the first thing I'm going to do here is to add my title, page titles. So I'm going to add it from the library. Click on Page Titles. Now, because my page is already named as Services, it has now been renamed here, which is very good. Now, to save this to the library, all you have to do is to click this little icon here and then click on template name, and then you can save it with your template name, and this saves it to the library so that you can use it over and over again. Okay, so now that we have our services title, the next thing we're going to do is to add our columns. So I'm going to click this plus button here and add our 2/3, 1/3 column. So here in the first column, we are going to add a video. So I'm going to search for my video module and select it. And then this is where now you need to add your video URL. So I can always go to my YouTube channel here and select my URL. So I'm just going to come over here, go to my channel and find a video to add. So I'm going to go ahead and add my latest video here. So I'm just going to select it. To find the link, I need to come over here to share. And then that gives me my link that I need. I'm going to copy that, come back over here to my video URL, paste it in place. And now you can see that my video is now showing straight away. Now, here's another thing. Now, if you want this video right here to look much better, you need to add an overlay, because right now it pulls all that information from YouTube. So I'm going to come over here to overlay and then click upload. So this is where I can choose an image that I can add onto that. So I'm going to select my image, click upload an image. So now we can see that our video now is much better. And it has this icon which we can go ahead and change if we wanted to. But for now, I am going to leave it as it is and then click on save. The next thing I'm going to do is to add a background color to this. So I'm going to click this background gear icon, click the plus button, and then I'm going to add my background color. So as before, I'm just going to make sure that this is not too black. The color that I used before, I think was 1C, 1C, 1C. Okay, that's looking great. I'm going to save this. And then next, I'm going to add my text module. So I'm going to click this plus button, text. I'm going to select my text module. And I am going to add a bit of text. And we may want to give this a title as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's find a title. I want to paste it in here. And then remembering to highlight this, click on paragraph, and then select heading 1. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save. In fact, before I save, the colors here are not working, so let's go ahead and fix that. So I'm going to come over here to design, click on heading text, and we're going to make this white. And for this, if you recall, we changed that to 666. So we're going to go to text, text color, and then I'm going to add my color like that. Okay, so that's looking much better, but this time we're going to make this row slightly bigger. So let's click this row settings icon, click on design, and then I'm going to come over here to sizing and use custom width. We're going to select that. And then we are going to just make it 1200, maybe even more. Okay, so that's looking much better. So when people come to our website now, they can easily click this video and also have a brief description here. So this could be information that is an introduction to the services that the company does. Okay, so let's go ahead and add another section. So I'm going to click this plus button here and I am going to click on a regular. So my first section here is going to be a single column, and we are going to add a counter. Okay, so title, we're going to call this clients around the world, like that. The number, we're going to be over ambitious here and add 560. And then over here on the elements, we have a percentage sign. We don't need that on. So we're just going to leave this running up to about 568 clients around the world. That's fantastic. Now we can also add a background color to this, but we're not going to do that. I'm just going to come over here to design. And I'm going to go to the number text and we're going to change this color. Okay. Why don't we use something different here? So let me choose one of these colors here, and okay, that's much better. I'm also going to come over here to our numbers text and adjust the size a little bit. So right now it's on 70. I'm going to bring it down to about 66. And then for our letter spacing, I'm also going to increase the spacing here to about, say, 6. Okay, the line height is fine. Okay, it's all centered. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my title text, increase the size a little bit to maybe 26. Okay, it's fine because it's centered. Let's see how it looks all caps. I think all caps is much better. So we're going to leave it as all caps. Add a bit of letter spacing. Okay, so that's looking pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead now and save. So ideally what I want to do here is to add a bit more information, because right now it's looking too plain. So to quickly add information to this row, all you got to do is to click this little icon here to add our columns. So I'm going to click this 2 columns. And then over here on the second one, I am going to add an image. So I'm going to search for my image. module, click upload. And then what I'm going to do here is I am going to choose maybe one of these images here from my library, click upload. So this kind of like puts everything into context, which is fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save. And then below this counter, I'm going to add some text as well. So I'm going to search for my text module, select it. And then over here, I'm just going to choose a paragraph of text. And I'm going to paste it in here. And then I'm just going to add a few lines as bullet points. Select that, add my bullet point, come over here and choose some more text. And then we're just going to add one more. Right, so that's looking great. So we can further customize this when we come over here to our design tab, click on text. So these are the bullets. So I'm going to come over here and we're going to increase the size if we wanted to, like that. But we're just going to leave it at 16. But over here, I'm going to add my line height like that to about 1.8. And then further down, I'm going to come over here to my indent, bring it in a bit to about say 42. And then I'm going to go back over here and add some line height like that. So 1.8 looks much better. So we have some context over here because this is the number of clients around the world. And then over here we have a description, a brief description of that. So let's go ahead now and save. Okay, so before we continue, let's say you want to rearrange these sections. You can easily do that by just coming over here and dragging it above here to the top. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our third section. So I'm going to come over here, click this plus button. And I'm going to click on regular because it needs to be a regular section. And then for our services, I'm going to click these three columns. And then the first module that we're going to add is going to be a text module. So this is going to have all our titles for our headings. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to copy and paste my titles in here as we did before. So I'm going to paste my title, come over here to design. Click on text and then make sure that this is aligned to the center like that. Now below that, I'm going to save this for now. So now below this, I'm going to have a video. Okay, so I'm going to search for my video module like that. I'm going to add my old URL. And then for my overlay, I'm just going to click upload and then I'm going to find an image from my library, click upload. So these are going to be my images for my videos. So for now, I'm going to save. And then below this, I'm going to add a button. So I'm going to search for my button module. And then for my button text, I'm just going to call this learn more. And then for the link, I'm just going to add a blank link. Okay, so now that I have that in place, let's customize our button. So I'm going to come over here to design, click on button, and then on use custom styles for button, we're going to click on yes. Now we're going to make this button a bit smaller. So let's make it about say 15, maybe even 14. And then for the button background color, let's choose this red because we've used this throughout the design. Get rid of my border width. And then for my button text color, we're going to set this to white. So now we can see that it's easier to read. And then as we go ahead here for show icon, I'm going to say no. I need to make sure that my button is centered. So I'm going to come all the way to the top here where it says alignment and then align this to the center. Okay, so that's looking much better. I may want to go in and do some customizations to the text as well. So I'm going to come over here to text, in fact, to the button, and I'm going to make my text all caps and then just add some letter spacing like that. So that's much better. Okay, so let's try and see what happens if we make it bold. I think that's even better. Okay, so let's leave it as semi-bold. Okay, so that's great. Let's go ahead now and save. Now, what I think we could also do here is to add some more text as a description below the video. So let's do that. So I'm going to click this plus button here. Search for my text module, select it, and then I am going to add my text description and paste it in here. And I'm going to make sure that this is centered. So I'm going to scroll all the way down here where it says text orientation. We're just going to center this. So that's looking much better. But now we have the problem that we had earlier on where we have that one word on the bottom. So let's get rid of that so that everything is in line. Okay, so that's looking much better. Now for the title here, you can see there's a lot of space right here. So why don't we fix that? So I'm going to save this for now. So there's two things we can do. We can either drag this title here below the video, or we can keep it on the top by just dragging it back. But we need to make sure that our padding here on sizing, in fact, it's not on sizing, it's on spacing. So padding bottom, I'm going to set it to 0 and margin bottom as well. So that's a bit too close. So let's try 10. Right, I think 10 works perfect. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead now and save. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this and add it to the other two rows. So I'm going to do this by just clicking this button right here, dragging this over like that. Do it one more time. Drag it over. Do the same with the video. Drag it over. And then finally, oh, in fact, we still have the button and also the text. So drag this over. Okay, now it's time to duplicate the button twice and drag it over. Like that. Okay, so all we have to do now is to change the titles and the video. So let's start off with the video. So for now, in your case, you would need to go in and change the video URLs because this right now is just showing the same video. So let's go ahead and do that. So in my case here, I'm going to leave this URL as it is, but I'm just going to change the overlay images. So I'm going to click on that, click upload. I'm going to choose this train right here, click upload, and then save. And then for this one, I'm going to click on the settings, click on overlay, and then I'm going to choose this tractor. Okay, so that's looking good. I'm going to go ahead now and change these titles. So I'm going to save, and then I'm going to come into these titles. So I'm just going to copy my headings. I'm going to paste it in here. Go back and choose another heading. Okay, that's looking great. Right, so I have all my information that I need now on my services page. That's looking great. Now I'm just going to add a bit more padding to this. So let's say about 114. And then we're going to add a title for this. In fact, we may not even need a title for that because the videos all have titles. So I'm just going to leave that as it is. And I'm going to go ahead and save this page. Okay, so before I continue, let's just go through all these pages and see how far we've come. So I'm going to start off with my home page. Okay, that's looking great. We may need to go in and do further tweaks here and there. We haven't done our team page, so I'm going to come over here to our services page. This is the page that we just done. And that's looking pretty nice. Great. We're going to come over here to the About Us page. Now, what I've noticed here, and this is something that we can fix very, very quickly. There's too much white around this page, so I would like to separate that. So I'm going to click on Enable Visual Builder. And then what I'm going to do is in this section, we are going to change the background color. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings, click on background, and we're going to go ahead and add a dark color right there. So just as before, we're going to use 1C, 1C, 1C as our background color. Save that. So now this looks much, much better. Okay. Excellent. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and save this page. And we have two more pages to do. This is the contact and the Our Team page. So I'm going to come over here to our team, click on Enable Visual Builder. And then let's start off by building our page. So I'm going to come over here and add a regular section. Click on these 3 columns, and each column is going to have a person module like that. So name, we're going to call this Jack. Position, let's say director. And then we can add a Facebook URL if we need to. But for now, I'm just going to add a blank link, like LinkedIn as well. Okay, description. Let's add a bit of a description there. Okay, I'm going to come back over here and paste my description. Okay, now it's time to add the image. So I'm going to come over here, click on image, and then click upload. Now I'm going to click upload a bunch of images here. So I'm going to click on upload files, select files. Now these images are all in my downloads folder. So I'm going to go ahead and just download all these images all at once. This will save me going back and forth uploading these images. So as you can see, the process of building this website is not as difficult, but if you're finding it difficult to follow along step by step, I have a course which will show you everything that you need to know about Divi. This course is called Divi Blueprint 3. So you can go ahead, I'll leave the link in the comments box below for you to go ahead and sign up for that course. And it also has a 50% discount, so that's something that you can take advantage of. Okay, so now I have all my images in there. I'm going to select my first image here. And this, in fact, this is the director guy. Upload. So now we can see our image is now in place. So I'm happy with all the information that I've added in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and save. And I'm going to duplicate this twice. Drag it over here into position. So you can see this feature of duplicating here. It makes things much easier for me. So here on the names, instead of going into the module itself, I can just start editing the names here. This could be Simon. Now I can go in here and change the images. So I'm going to click on image, upload. I'm going to select my image right here, click upload image, save that, come over here, click the gear icon, click on image, upload. In fact, let's have a lady this time here on the top row. Change the name, obviously. Samantha. She can be the creative director. Sales director. Okay, so that's looking good so far. Now let's duplicate this whole. In fact, before we do that, let's make a few customizations to this. I'm going to come over here to my row settings. Click on design, sizing, use custom width. And then I am going to set this to 1200. And then for the gutter width, I'm going to use my custom gutter width. At the moment, it's set to 3. I would like these closer. So I'm going to set it to about 2, like that. So that's looking much better. Now I'm going to go ahead and save. Next, I am going to duplicate this row. So I'm going to just click this button here to duplicate it because we have more members that we need to add to this team. Right, so over here, I'm just going to go in and change these names one more time. So this can be, okay, this can be John, Susan. This could be Jackie, like that. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to my gear icon and let's change that image. So I'm going to click on image, upload. Okay, so this is John, upload image. I'm going to save that. And then over here, Susan. I'm going to click on the image, upload. Okay, this could be Susan. And then finally, we have Jackie. I'm going to click this gear icon, image, upload. I'm going to upload my image. Okay, so I'm going to save this for now. And then we're just going to go in and change these titles. So we already have a director, sales director, creative director. So here, this could be an artist. Illustrator, like that. Okay, so that's looking good. I'm just going to add some more padding to this. Okay, so that's the team. So that's looking great. I think we need something over here on the top just to break this information here because there's too much white space. So what we could do here is we could add a video on the top here or even some text. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to delete this row. Click our plus button here and we are going to add a video module like that. Add my URL. And then for our overlay video, I'm going to click on upload to get our image. And the image that we're going to use is this one right here, which has a theme like that. And then I'm going to come over here and save. Next, I am going to give this a background color. So I'm going to come over here to my settings, click on background, and we are going to add a background color. So again, our color is 1C, 1C, 1C. Great, I'm going to save this. So I've noticed that I've missed my page title here. Let's go ahead and add that. So I'm going to click this plus button here, click on add from library, page headings, and then I'm going to drag this to the top like that. So this just adds some consistency to all our pages because all our pages has this page title here. Okay, so we have our video. We also have all our team members. Now I can see here that there's too much imagery going on. So let's break this and add some text over here as well. So I'm going to change the column structure and add 2/3, 1/3. And then over here, we're going to add a text module like that. I'm going to copy all my text from here and paste it. Okay, so that's looking good. Let's add a title to this. So I'm going to come over here and select my title. I'm going to paste it like that and give this an H1. Okay, so that's looking great. The only thing that we need to do now is to change the heading color. And we are going to come over here and just change it to white. And for the text color, we are going to change this to 666666. Great. Okay, that's looking good. I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to come over here to my row settings and change the width of that. So I'm going to click on design, sizing, and then I'm going to use custom width, set this to 1200. We may even make it a bit more and save. So that's looking much better now. We have our team and we also have a video. This could be like an intro video to the team, which talks about the team. And then below here, it goes into detail and gives a description of each and every one of the team members. Okay, so that's our team page. Let's go ahead now and save. So I'm going to save it. And then finally, we are going to create our contact us page. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to exit the Visual Builder, click on the contact. So right now it's plain. Let's go ahead and enable the Visual Builder. And then I'm going to click this gear icon here to click on my section settings, click on background. And then here I'm going to add an image to the whole background. So I'm going to click this plus button here. So the image I'm going to use is this London Bridge. Upload image. So for now, I'm just going to save, and then I'm going to come in here and start adding all our modules. So the module that we're going to add is our contact form. I'm going to select it. So I'm going to give this a title, Get in Touch. Okay, I want to come over here to design, click on title text. We're going to change this color to white so we can see it like that. And then I'm going to save. Now we can see that this image in the background is way too bright. So we need to fix that. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings, click on background, and then I'm going to click the first tab, click this plus button here, and we're going to add white. And then we're going to click this third tab, come over here to image blend and then click overlay. So as we did before, we can see now here that the image is way too white. So to adjust that, we need to come back over here to this first tab, and then we're going to reduce and make it transparent, but just slightly. So what we need to do now is to go in and make some adjustments to our form. So I'm going to save this for now, add another column. So I'm going to click this column layout, 2/3, 1/3 is the best. Okay. So now that we have this in place, we can always add our text over here to the right. So let's start off by doing that. So I'm going to select my text module, and then I'm going to start adding my text. So I'm going to paste my text in here like that. And then we're going to separate this and add some headings. So I'm going to add my first heading, highlight it, and make sure that it's heading 1. In fact, that's way too big. Let's make it heading 3. That's much better. We're going to insert another heading right here, like that. Heading 3 as well. And this text may be a bit too much. Okay, so this is where the phone numbers could come, like that. And then I'm just going to add my numbers in here, add another one here. Okay, and obviously this is a fake number, so don't try and call this number because it's not going to get you anywhere. Okay, so I've got my phone numbers in there. I'm just going to make this bold, like that, just to make it stand out a bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to customize this form. So I'm going to come over here to design. So I'm going to start off with the title text and make sure that that is a dark color so we can read it on this light background. And I'm going to change this to 1C, 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 because that black is a bit too harsh. Okay, next I'm going to come over here to form field text. Again, we're going to make this 1C, 1C, 1C. We're going to make it slightly bigger. 16 is perfect. And then we're going to increase the line height to about 1.8. Great. And then we're going to come over here to border, and we're going to add a border around that form. So now we can see that we're starting to stylize this form, and it's not looking like your standard form. So that's looking good. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and save. And then I'm going to add my page title one more time. I'm going to click this plus button here, click on add from library, and then add my page title. Drag this all the way to the top, like that. And then all we need to do is to add more padding to this. Now you can add as much padding as you want, depending on the size of your screen and how you want it to look. So pretty much this is our contact form. In fact, this is a bit too much. I'm going to just reduce this a little bit. Okay, that's looking much better. Okay, so I'm going to save this page. Okay, so now that we have all our pages in place, let's go in and make some customizations throughout this website. So let's start off by coming over here to the home page, click on Enable Visual Builder. So straight away, I can see here that having these 3 services does not really balance the page. So I'm going to duplicate this row and have 6 instead. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to just go in and change these icons. So I'm going to click on this gear icon, click on image and icon, and then I'm just going to find different icons I can add in here. Come over here to the next one, image and icon. Okay, I'm going to choose this one right here. And then finally, I'm going to click this gear icon, click on image and icon, and I am going to choose this one right here. Save. So as you can see now, this page looks a bit more balanced because it has more item in it. So these are the sort of changes that you can do when you're finalizing your website before you submit this to your client, or even if it's your own website. These are the small things that you can start adding just to finalize this website. Okay, so you can just notice here, I've just added a bit of padding here to the top as well. So I would say 120 is fine. So we may want to do this to the rest of our website. So we're going to come over here, add 120, just to make sure that everything just looks consistent. So I'm going to do the same over here, 120. So as we add all these little tweaks to our website, there are a few things that you may want to consider while you're building your website. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back into my home page. my settings I need are all in this module setting. Okay, so let's say we decide to have parallax. Now, this is something that you may want to think about, because if we choose parallax, it disables the color here that we added to make this a bit dark. So if I come over here to background and then click on my image and then click on use parallax, what you'll notice is now we have the original image, but we don't have that dark color that we had. But if you are someone that really wants to go with parallax, this is something that you may want to do and disable that image. So what you want to do now in this case is to actually go into a software like Photoshop, make your changes in Photoshop, and then come back and upload this image back on there if you really need the parallax. And let me show you what that looks like when you've done it in Photoshop. So I'm going to save this for now, and then I'm going to open this image in Photoshop. Okay, so I've opened my image here in Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is to make this image a bit dark so our text is easier to read when people visit our website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this layer with black, and then over here on my blending modes, I'm going to choose multiply. So you can see here that nothing much has happened. All I have to do now is to lower the opacity. So I think that will do at 74 or even maybe 70. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to save this image now, and then I'm just going to save it as 5656. Save. So that image now is in my downloads folder. So I'm just going to get rid of Photoshop now, and let's continue with our website design. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here into my module settings, click on background, and then I'm going to replace this image by clicking upload files, select files. And then now we're going to go to that image that we've just saved in our computer, click upload image. So now we can see that our image has been updated, and now we can read our information much easier on this darker background. So this is something that you may want to do by using a combination of Photoshop to achieve the parallax effect. Okay, so now that I have that set, I'm going to go ahead now and save. Let's come over here and see what we can change. This looks quite fine. And then here, what we could also do is we could add some animation to this. So let's come over here to our row settings, click on design, and then I'm going to click on animation, and we want this to slide, but we want it to slide up. Okay, like that. That looks fantastic. So I'm pretty happy with that. Duration, let's see if we can slow it down a bit. Yeah, I think 1200 is perfect. I'm going to save. So now we have the parallax, and we also have the animation right here on the bottom. Okay, so that's looking great. I'm going to save this page. Now let's exit the Visual Builder, and let's test this one more time. Great, so that's working. Now let's go to our team and let's see what we can change over here. Okay, so this looks fine so far. I don't think we need to make any changes on this page. Let's keep it simple. Services, maybe we could add some animation to this. Let's try and do that. So let's enable our builder, and then I'm going to come over here to my row settings, click on design, animation, and we're going to do the same. We are going to have this animate up, and we're going to set this to 1200 like that. Save, and we're going to do the same here as well. Click on the row settings, design, animation, slide up. Okay, so this one here is going to be slower. Let's have it at even, let's say 1400. Okay, let's save. Let's save the page, and then we're going to exit the Visual Builder, and then let's refresh the page and see how that looks. Okay, so we can see our animation is working, and that's working too. Fantastic. So next, let's go to the About Us page. I think this is one of those pages which we need to keep simple as well. But since we've been adding 1200 to 120 to our padding on our sections, let's go ahead and do that throughout the site now. I'm going to click on Enable Visual Builder, add 120 here, like that. Do the same over here. Okay, and then I'm just going to add some breathing space here as well. Okay, great. I'm going to save the page, exit the Visual Builder. Now let's move on to the contact, and we are going to do the same. In fact, this one is done already. Let's go to the services, enable Visual Builder. So here I think we have more than 120, so let's fix that. Okay, so that's 120 now, and then here 120, 120. Okay, that's looking great. I'm going to save the page again. We're going to go to our team, and then we're going to do this as well. So I'm going to click Enable Visual Builder. Increase this to 120. We're going to do the same here as well. Okay, so that's looking fine. I'm going to save this page one more time. So the final thing we're going to do is to add our phone number here at the top, because this is our business website. So ideally, we want people to be able to contact us as soon as they get to our website. So let's do that. So I'm going to come over here to Dashboard. I'm going to click on Customize. So we're going to come over here to Header Elements. So we can show our social icons, our phone number. So let's add our phone number in there. Okay, so that's our phone number. Our email address as well, we can add it there. So that's the information that's going to go on our header elements. I'm going to click back over here, click on our secondary menu bar, and we're going to publish for now. So now that it's published, I'm just going to refresh the page so you can see the changes. For some reason, this hasn't been refreshed. So I'm just going to go and take a look at our website. So we can see it right here at the top. So let's go back in and customize that. Okay, so I'm going to go back into our dashboard, click on Customize. Okay, so we can see it now. So let's go back into our header and navigation, our secondary menu bar, and then we're going to start increasing the text right here to about 14. We can make it all caps if we wanted to, but I think it looks much better that way. And here we can change our background color. Yeah, I think that's much better. Okay, so let's go ahead with this. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to come back over here and click on our primary menu bar. And here we're also going to make some customizations to our text. So I think all our headings here needs to be all caps. And we're also going to add some letter spacing. So I think 2 is perfect. So that's looking good. I'm going to go now and publish. Now, before we finalize this tutorial, what I'm going to do as well is, I'm not sure if you've noticed that if this website is saved, our homepage is not set correctly. So I'm just going to close this now and then go to our main website, and I'll show you what I mean. So right now it's defaulting to this because it's set as a blog. So let's fix that. So I'm going to come over here to my dashboard, click on Settings, Reading, and then we're going to change this static page to our home page like that. Click on Save Changes. So now when we go to our website, we should land on our proper page, which we designed like that. So now we can see that our page is now fully functional. And I've noticed one thing here. This text right here is for some reason very light. Let's go ahead and fix that, because that's meant to be bold. So I'm going to click on Dashboard. I'm going to come back to Customize, Header and Navigation, Primary Menu Bar, and we're going to make our font style bold. So that's much better. So let's go ahead and save this. So there you have it. This is how you build a business website using Divi. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and do share this video with anyone that wants to learn web design. And also, if you want to go into detail and learn how you can use Divi to build awesome looking websites, I have a course which I'll link to in the show notes below. This course has a 50% discount, so you can take advantage of that. And also there is a course about there is also a WordPress course which you can take advantage of. This is absolutely free, so go ahead and sign up for that course. So thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.